What is up, YouTube? I'm Lamb Trades, and today I'll be taking you through my watch list for the week of April 9th, 2021. If you're new here, this is my weekly watch list video that I show what stocks are at the top of my list to watch out for this week. Make sure you guys like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any more content like this. To begin, let's go over the economic events that I'll be keeping an eye on this week. For the most part, it's a really chill week. There isn't anything too substantial that will have the effect of moving the market. We do have initial and continuing jobless claims on Thursday, but other than that, it's a pretty quiet week. Keep in mind, we do have earnings season right around the corner, so the market could run up into that. But for now, let's go over what we saw in the markets this week. Also, I do want to add that I am starting a little selling premium challenge, which we can see here. I have a Robinhood account with about $104, thankfully, to this free CymaBay therapeutic share. But I'm going to be selling premium throughout the week using credit spreads and debit spreads and trying to build this account up. I'll post a separate video on it and I'll be updating throughout the weeks, but make sure you guys keep out for that and like and subscribe if you want to see more of that. Let me know down in the comments as well. It was a record week with the S&P 500 closing above 400 for the first time ever. We saw a huge run into close on Friday that pushed us right above 400 with continuation in after hours. This was a very, very bullish close. In addition to all that, we also got job numbers Friday morning that absolutely blew expectations out of the water. We were estimating about 600,000 jobs adding, and we got 900,000 with unemployment down to 6%. Keep in mind, the lower that unemployment goes, the sooner we are to the Fed raising rates. So it's kind of sweet and sour, but short term, I do think these good job numbers are bullish. I think we do see a gap up on futures with continuation on Monday. However, as we've talked about, this $400 level is very important as our economy really is still recovering. With the stock market being at all-time high, people get a little shaky. I will watch out for a gap up on Monday, and hopefully we can pull back and find some support around the previous all-time high, which is give or take 400. I'd say that 400 level is really, really important. The previous all-time high was about 398, but I want to see us be able to use this 400 as support. If we do gap up and hold the gains, I like for a continuation. However, if we come right back down and break below 400, I think we may begin to continue downwards or really start to chop around. There's a lot of bullish momentum going into this week, so it should be exciting. And in addition to that, April is typically the best month of the year for the stock market. So that is also very, very great. Now let's go over what we were looking at in the markets last week. The first stock we were looking at last week was Walmart. We saw Walmart being able to bounce off of the support trend line using this 135 level as resistance, and it created an ascending triangle. We closed above last Friday, and I was looking for a gap up and continuation on Monday, which is exactly what we saw. We are now consolidating above this previous resistance, which is bullish. However, we can see it is using this 200 SMA on the 4-hour as resistance, which really isn't good. Above that 200 SMA indicates we're in an uptrend, and below is a downtrend. This 200 SMA is telling us that Walmart might not be ready to really start to break out. I want to see us break above this 200 SMA. If we can't, I do think we'll break back below this 135, and we may struggle a little bit to get back above in the future. However, if Walmart can break above that 200 SMA, I think it's really, really bullish, and we can start pushing towards that $140 to $145 level that we talked about last week. The next stock that we were watching was Facebook. As you can see on Facebook, we wanted to see a bounce off of this resistance and use it as support, which is exactly what we saw. We then saw a huge continuation to the upside. It was held down briefly by this resistance trend line, but was able to break through on Wednesday and really close at near all-time highs on Friday. I think we see a continuation on Facebook. This is a level of resistance. That $300 level is really important, and I think we did break out past 300 but pulled back. So I want to see if we can break above 300 and hopefully hold. I think for Facebook that'll be really, really bullish. The next stock that we were looking at was BlackBerry. This was a really tough week for BlackBerry as earnings didn't go as well as expected. I was expecting good earnings, but BlackBerry missed, and we can see that it really, really took a hit in the stock. However, we are still in this downtrend, and we're heading towards that $8 support. Right now, for the long term at $8 a share, BlackBerry is kind of a no-brainer for the long term with how they're rotating into that cybersecurity space. And I really do think if we can get a bounce off of that $8 level, it'll be bullish. But I want to see us break out of this downtrend first. This downtrend is what's holding the stock down. So if we're able to break out of this downtrend after bouncing off the support, I think that'll be really bullish. But now that we've kind of fell below that 200 SMA and we are pretty diverged, I think the next couple of months on BlackBerry could be pretty choppy. I want to see us break this downtrend first, and I think that could cause some short-term continuation to the upside, and then I want to see where we go from there. And finally, the last stock we were watching was Chewy. Chewy was a little extra one that I wanted to point out as it was trading within this range pre-earnings, and I said if we can get a nice bullish earnings, which we did, and break out, we can hopefully see some continuation. That's exactly what we saw as Chewy broke out from 88 and went straight to 93. However, after not being able to hold, we pushed below and we used that 88 resistance as resistance again. This isn't bullish at all for Chewy, and I think we may end up pushing back below to that $77 level. If we can treat that as support, I think it'll be good, but with this downward pressure after great earnings, we might get a little bloody here. Watch for that 88. If we can get above 88, that's bullish, but if we push down to 77 and break below, it won't be looking too hot for Chewy. If you guys are still watching, I would really appreciate if you could like and subscribe, as I do put a lot of work into these videos. But now let's get into the stocks that we're watching this week. The first stock that I'll be watching this week is Target. Retail has had a really big push, which we saw in Walmart last week over the past couple of weeks, and I am pretty bullish on this sector right now. As we can see, Target pushed higher towards that all-time high range and has been consolidating. This is one of my favorite things that I see. We were consolidating over the past few days up at these all-time high levels using 201, 201.50 as resistance. We did push down on Thursday and use that previous resistance as support, which is very bullish. And I think we should be able to get a continuation past all-time highs this week. If we break below that 196, it's a different story, but I really do like how we're consolidating up at these high ranges. And I do think if we break above that 201, 202 level, which was the high of the week this week, we could see it start to run. So I'll be watching for that. The next stock that I'll be watching is FedEx. Now, as you can see, FedEx has had a rough couple of months, really not reacting with the market moves and kind of pushing down. We were recently able to get above this 200 SMA, and we have been using this nice support trend line to kind of push up. We were held down by this resistance trend line a few weeks ago, and then again, but we were able to push out this week, and I do think that FedEx will be able to use this as support and push higher. As we can see, another stock that we can watch out for is UPS, and UPS hasn't reacted the same, as it's kind of been consolidating within a range rather than just pushing down and coming back up. I do like how UPS is bullish on top of FedEx as well. So I think we see continuation. The next level to watch out for on FedEx would be that 290 level, and if we can get past there, we should see 300. But I will keep my eye out for that. If we fall below this support trend line, the play is no longer valid, and I think FedEx will fall back down. And the final and favorite play for this week is QQQ. QQQ is an ETF representing the top 100 stocks in the NASDAQ composite. So it's representative of the tech sector. This week, we saw a break of this downtrend right here and really some continuation to the upside. We also broke above 325.50, which was used as a resistance to this choppiness over the past couple of months. I think the next level to watch is at 330 level, which we used as resistance back here, and then as support before breaking below once tech started to really sell off this year. However, with a break above this 324 level, I do think we can begin to retest that 330, hopefully pushing above. The only thing I don't like is that RSI is sitting at 76. If we can get a gap up on Monday, pull back to 33.24, and then really start to rip back to that 33.30 level, I think that would be the perfect setup. I do want to make sure that this stock can hold above and use this resistance as support though. I think this is very bullish as a whole on tech, as tech is the one sector that didn't make an all-time high this week. So I do want to keep an eye on that. But we want to keep in mind that yields are very, very important when looking at tech. If we push to that 2% range on yields, especially on the 10-year, I think that can get really, really ugly for tech. But I'm going to watch for us to hold above this 324 previous resistance, hopefully turning it support with a continuation upwards to 330. But that is all for today. I hope you guys have a great weekend and a very happy Easter. If you guys want to follow along with me during the week, make sure you click the link in my description for the completely free Discord where I call out my plays and what I'm watching during the week. But other than that, have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.